Let's talk about reflection time in staff meetings. You know the drill. Someone passes out sticky notes, throw a prompt on the screen, usually something like, "What does equity mean to you?" And then awkward silence. You can feel the tension in the room. A few people scribble something vague like, "All students matter," and others just stare into the middle distance like they're trying to telepathically escape. And as a facilitator, you're up there trying to hold space while half the room is checked out. Quarter looks defensive, and a few are mentally drafting their resignation letter. This is what happens when we call for safe spaces but forget to build trust. When we ask people to be vulnerable but haven't shown that we'll handle their vulnerability with care. And let's be honest, sometimes it feels safer to just skip the reflection altogether. If you tried leading reflective conversations and it felt like pulling teeth, you're not failing. You're leading in a climate where reflection has often been performative, rushed, or used as a setup for evaluation. And if you sat in those spaces and felt guarded instead of open, you're not wrong for that either. A lot of educators have been burned by reflection spaces that were more about optics than actual growth. But here's the truth. We need spaces to grow together, and growth requires honesty, discomfort, and a level of vulnerability that can't be demanded. It has to be earned. That's where brave spaces come in. A brave space says no one will get hurt here. You might get challenged, but you won't be abandoned. Brave spaces don't eliminate discomfort, they normalize it. Because when we're talking about equity, identity, bias, inclusion, those aren't topics we can tackle with silence and neutrality. And no, brave spaces aren't always tidy, but they're powerful because they hold the tension between honesty and care. And that's where real growth happens. So how do we actually create staff spaces where people are willing to go deep? Strategy number 1, co-create norms that feel real before the first tough question gets asked. Create group agreements together. Ask questions like, what makes a space feel brave for you? What shuts you down during tough conversations? And how do we each hold each other accountable without shaming? Write these down, revisit them, refer back when tensions rise. These norms aren't decorations, they're commitments. And when people help build the expectations, they're more likely to honor them. Strategy number 2, start with the personal, not the political. Avoid jumping straight into theory or the big stuff. Start with people. Try prompts like, when was a time you felt like your voice mattered at work? What's something you wish your colleagues understood about your identity? See, these aren't rhetorical. They open doors. And when people see themselves in a conversation, they're more likely to lean in. Strategy number 3, normalize imperfection. You will mess this up. Someone will say the wrong thing. Someone will get defensive. That's not failure. That's proof that people are stretching. As a leader or facilitator, model that. Say things like, this might come out messy, but here's what I'm thinking. Or, I used to believe blank and I've had to rethink it. How about, that's a fair challenge. Let's sit with that. Creating a brave space doesn't mean you control the outcome. It means you hold space through the process. Here's what I know. Brave spaces aren't built in one meeting. They're built through moments. A pause to really listen. An apology that's actually sincere. A choice to lean into discomfort instead of ducking out. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to stay curious, stay compassionate, and stay present. Growth isn't always comfortable, but it is worth it. They just need you to be real. Keep showing up. Keep holding space. Keep inviting people to the table, not just to sit, but to speak. You're already doing the work. Let's keep making it brave.